Beautiful out, going to be 70 degrees again today. We are going to do a transmission service today on the old Excursion. I do it once a year, no matter how many miles I put on. I generally do about 25,000 miles a year, so that falls around 30,000. The guy that did my transmission originally told me, don't worry about how many miles are on it, do it once a year, no matter what. That's it. If you're doing it yourself, it's very reasonable. It's like $100 in materials, and so, you know, it's maybe 2 hours time, if that. So I'd rather be safe than sorry. I got about 85,000 on the rebuilt transmission now, so it's doing okay. So we're gonna go with it. So what I did was, after I had the transmission done, I had serviced it twice before the transmission was done. What I did was I made a list of exactly what I need, because you know, you only do this once a year, you forget about all the tools you need. So what I did was, this is exactly what I need here for the trans service: 13/16 deep socket, half inch extension, 3/8, 7/16 half inch, 15 millimeter, 10 millimeter socket, jack stand and block, and 14 quarts of Valvoline Max Life. So we have, this one only has 3 quarts in it, so we got like 15 quarts. But there's all our tools. Need a very big drain pan, because it is, you know, 14 quarts. It's almost as much oil. And we have the jack span and a jack over here. So what we're gonna do is get under here first, and I will show you. Don't know, hopefully you can see that, but there's the transmission pan, and it has a drain plug. So what we do is drain the fluid out first, then we will take the cover off the torque converter. And one thing Ford does good is they put a drain on their torque converter, so you can drain the fluid out of that too. Last year I did the I do that every other year, the transfer case. We do have to take this cross member down to get that transmission pan out, that's the hardest part of the job. So what I have to do is unbolt it, jack it up a little, put a jack stand under it, and then hold it, and then I take that down. And it's not a big deal. It's 10 bolts. Well, I guess it's 12 technically. And you just zip them off with the impact, and then you have a clear shot of the pan. So what I'll do is I will get stuff draining, and I will show you on the way. Also, I have filters here, and I was just looking at them. Let me show you this. It's kind of interesting. So they're the exact same part number. They're both, you know, I had bought one years ago for the Bronco, and the Bronco uses an E40D, and this is a 4R100. They're the exact same part number. They're a year or two apart on what the filter is, but then when you take the filter out, see, that one's got a metal housing with a sump. Nice looking filter. I think it's ADP. And this one is like the one I have in there. It's all plastic. And it's the same depth, same everything. But one's plastic, one's got these little, so I guess 4R100 and E40D are identical filters. So as you can see, I have a pile of these. I don't use these. Ford uses a reusable gasket pan, which is great. So I've reused it. This is probably the 5th trans service I've done on it since I've owned it. So I don't even know why. I'm not sure why I even keep them, but so I think I'm going to go back with the plastic one again, because that's what I have in there. Like I said, it's slightly different, but it's, I mean, obviously it would go in. So, and what I'll do is I'll show you once we get the trans pan down, and I always cut the filter open. I mean, it takes 5 minutes. I take my cutoff wheel and cut the filter open. I just want to see what the filter looks like. So to try to head off anything, you know, it's probably me just being anal, but you know, is what it is. So all right, well, we'll get started and we'll show you along the way. So we got the fluid draining out. We drained the pan's all empty. Well, it looks like torque converter's empty now too. As you can see in the pan how much fluid that is. That's a 16 quart pan, so there's probably 13 quarts in there. We got the transmission cross member down. Got a jack stand holding up our transmission, our transfer case. Sorry for the noise, there's a jet going over. Welcome to Hampton Roads. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna put our plug back into torque converter, put that back together, and then drop our pan down, change our filter, clean the pan out, put a new filter in, and put it up. Once we get the pan down, I will show you. But all in all, it's going good. About a half hour in. All right, so we got the pan down. Everything seems to look okay. You can see the fluid's nice and still red. Nothing crazy sticking on the magnet. I mean, it does have stuff on it. You're gonna get some clutch material on that. That's normal wear and tear. Like I said, here's the reusable gasket, which is great. What I did was I glued it down to the pan, so that way it stays on the pan. I don't have to worry about fighting it. Did that a couple times ago. But what we'll do is we'll wipe this pan out and then put our filter, a new filter in. So one critical step in this, you must, and I've seen this done before, and people can mess up a transmission. See that little orange gasket right there? You got to make sure that comes off with the filter. If you leave that up in the transmission and your new one goes to it, it will not seat properly and you'll probably fire your transmission. So always make sure that that gasket is on that old filter when you take it down. I'll show you real quick. And then I still always look up in there, which of course there can't be anything else up there, but I just look up there anyway. See, there's the old one on the filter. What I'm doing is draining this filter down because I usually cut it open and just look. I'm not suspecting anything because everything looks so good in the pan, but like I said, that's just me. It takes 5 minutes. It's just kind of my curiosity. But I'll give you a quick look under here at what the transmission looks like without the pan on it. Everything's nice and clean the way it should be. Nice red fluid. You don't want your fluid getting black. People will say, oh, you're probably just doing overkill. You know what? I probably am, but that's also the reasons why I get hundreds and hundreds of thousands of miles out of vehicles. So, I mean, manufacturer says, I think, I don't know on these years, the newer cars want you to do it every 60,000. Of course, everything's full synthetic now, which I do run full synthetic also, but like I said, it's about $100 worth of parts and an hour and a half in labor. I'm not taking a chance. I mean, the original trans had 280 on it, and I didn't maintain it. It was the first 250 with somebody else, so they probably did a little something. I've heard, everybody says how bad these transes are, but I've heard numerous people getting 400,000 to 500,000 out of original transes. So, and of course we know the motors pretty much go forever. So, but all right, well, we're gonna get this new filter up in there, wipe this pan out, and put the pan up. We'll show you when we get it back together. All right, so that is gonna wrap our transmission service up. We put 14 quarts back into this. What I did was I put 8 quarts in it, started it, let it idle, and then add another 4, and then I kind of move it back and forth, go up and down a little, make sure it moves, and then top it off with the last 2 quarts. And like I said, 14 quarts is about right. You still have to, once you let it warm up. I did let the truck run about 15 minutes because I'm going to also change the oil now. I don't need to show you all that. You've all seen that before, just a boring oil change. But so that's going to be it. So let me just show you real quick. I did cut this filter open, just my curiosity. I used the cutoff wheel and then cut it and then slice it, and you can see It's nice and clean inside, and that's what I want to see. But as I was draining the transmission fluid also into, I put them into, well, I usually have a 30-gallon jug, but that was full, so I have to go to dump that. And so I put it in 1-gallon jugs. You know, it's a little metallic-y, but nothing crazy, which is normal. I mean, you are going to get wear and tear. I mean, there's no doubt about it. You know, the trucks run hard and it's run heavy, and no matter what, and everything wears. So there's nothing you can do about that. So it is what it is. But all right, well, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below, and we'll catch you on the next video.